What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Yard Red Festival, the tournament where all the proceeds do go to the Red Cross charity. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is going to be game number 2 between Goomba Gaming and Team Coast. Currently it stands where Goomba Gaming up 1 game in this best of 3 here on the ESFX HeflaTV 2 channel. I'm Mike Loris, and I'm joined by Blackadder. What do you think about the ending of that game, man?
How to put this delicately? Base racing against a Medusa with a Skadi, an MKB, and a Mask of Madness is not the brightest of ideas. That's about as delicately as I can put it.
Alright, and that was very delicate, so it was a very anticlimactic ending. Like, Coast, they decided to trade instead of just outright going for a full team fight with Chronosphere Global Silence backup. That seemed like a fight that they could have had a chance of winning. Instead, they decided to go for the Hail Mary to end all Hail Marys, and they fumbled it. It wasn't good. And now we're going to be seeing a completely new draft as Goomba can pick up Razor first, responded to by Batrider and Mirana. So Coast, once again, going to look to get a lot of initiation on the board.
It's a Solar Miranda, that's an E-Skills Bat. I will guarantee that right the hell now. This is more traditional from Team Coast, I suppose, from what you would usually expect. Batrider can do fairly well, at least up against Razor if that's the mid matchup, but I am wondering if this isn't going to be a kind of aggressive team fight with pick-offs kind of draft. Pick one off, take an objective. Pick one off, take an objective.
I think that's pretty much what's going to be happening. I mean, with Batrider alone, that is viable as a strategy. Whenever you have your lasso up, and if you have your blink dagger as well, then you pretty much should be looking for a kill. It doesn't matter on who, doesn't matter with who. As long as you have some powerful follow-up with the Batrider, then lasso is generally going to equal a kill if you are not too careless about it. So I think that is going to be what Team Coast are going to be going for. And Goomba with the Razor pickup, it's a pretty resilient hero against this. Now with the Skywrath Mage, kind of banning it out from Team Coast, it would have been just such a perfect hero to go with the Batrider and Mirana, but Skywrath Mage is just an overall powerful hero as well, and together with the Razors, no huge synergy, but they're going to be working together just to deal damage.
Well, the powerful synergies aside, they did sort of pick the right bands for this one. I mean, Team Coast, they banned the Centaur, they banned the Death Prophet, whereas Goomba banned the Skywrath. Not the Skywrath, sorry, the Faces Void, which is one of Skywrath's best friends in terms of team fighting the Brewmaster. So, going into this one, picking Razor Skywrath, I'm expecting an Earthshaker pick or ban in this next phase to pair with that Skywrath.
Yeah, the Shaker was pretty good in the last game, and I think it's safe enough to say that Earthshaker Skywrath Mage is dangerous, and Earthshaker Skywrath Mage after that last performance is even more so. So I would be surprised to see Team Coast ban not Earthshaker. It was, a pretty devastating hero. They could, of course, look towards the more niche strategies. Goomba Gaming, they have 2 range heroes. Maybe they're setting up for a Drow Ranger. Who knows what Team Coast are thinking of. This is why I'm not captain, because I would just ban out whatever seems strong. And well, that's sometimes just got to be what you're going to do. As Goomba, they are going to ban out the Ember Spirit and then the Legion being banned out from Coast. Didn't see that one coming. It does combo pretty well with the Skywrath, though.
To an extent, yes, I suppose, but it's not your general go-to for damage and control. I mean, there are better heroes for it. The likes of... What's left in here that could work? Elder Titan can be a good one to set things up. You've got the likes of, say, Dragon Knight still in the pool if you really want to go with that kind of style, Dragon Tail into Mystic Flare. You could go with Alchemist. You could go with anything else, but they banned the Legion instead. Oh, hello. Now everything makes sense. They banned the Legion because she has illusion-destroying power with overwhelming odds, and that'll set them up for the Terror pick.
Alright, so Terrorblade slipping his way through the banning phase. He was first banned in the last game, I believe, so...
Yes, he was.
Yeah, Terrorblade is going to be picked up, and then, as predicted, Goomba going to slam that Earthshaker. There's some illusion-killing power right there, and now with this Terrorblade on the field, Goomba Gaming, their hand is forced. They have to play aggressively. If they don't, and if they sit back and try to outcarry the Terrorblade, well, good luck. I mean, there are certain heroes that could do it, Spectre being one of them, maybe even another Medusa could do it, but Terrorblade is a late-game powerhouse, and if you don't punish him early, you're going to lose the game.
I want to say Medusa might be the order of business here for Goomba. It has that illusion-killing potential. It can fight and deal heavy physical damage up against the Terrorblade, but the Terrorblade has some downsides. I mean, he is one of the lowest starting health heroes in the game. He doesn't have that much base strength at all.
Yeah, what he lacks in health, he makes up for in armor. And when you're facing up against a Scarith Mage, who doesn't really care about that, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. And then an Elder Titan. So you're just listing them off, and Goomba are picking them. So maybe it is going to be Medusa after all. Elder Titan is going to amplify so much damage coming out from Goomba. And Team Coast, they're not exactly tanky heroes. So already the damage would have been enough to make Terrorblade just crumble. If you add the Elder Titan aura on top of that, oh man, that's a lot of damage.
You pointed out the key thing there, which is why the Elder Titan makes sense. Terrorblade makes up for his lack of health with armor. What does Elder Titan do to that armor?
Well, I think he gets rid of it. Level 1, it's going to be, 40% base. That's getting rid of like 3 armor from level 1, which is pretty good. I mean, it's nothing too amazing, but once you get rid of all of his armor, then Terrorblade generally does build pretty high agility, so he's going to get hit pretty hard by this damage swing of Elder Titan, and then at that point, the magical damage is going to flow, and Terrorblade is going to have to be very quick on the draw to Sunder if he wants to survive, but good luck doing that against Ancient Seal, as well as Earthshaker Chain Stun.
Exactly, and I feel very hesitant about the Terrorblade pick. Everyone keeps going, oh, Terrorblade's going to have such an impact on the meta. Yes, he will, but he has his weaknesses. Elder Titan, heavy stuns, Legion Commander, one of the better ones against him, mainly due to overwhelming odds being able to just go, oh, what illusions were those?
Yeah.
But now, going into the final banning phase, Weaver taken out, and what do you reckon Goomba are going to take?
I still think that they should go for the Medusa. I mean, it worked so well for them in the last game. There's no real reason to not go for that, as they're not up against any mana burning or anything like that, and they will see the entirety of Team Coast before they have to make their last pick. I expect them to go a little bit deeper into the late game, or they could pick up something a little bit more aggressive. Like we were talking about last game, the Gyrocopter type of pick, and it's not as good in this game, I would say. It's still decent. Maybe even a Vengeful Spirit. Batrider's still in the field, and Goomba don't really have any great responses to that.
Oh, no, they don't. And the Shadow Demon was, of course, picked up by Team Coast. So right now it seems to be a Bat mid, Shadow Demon supporting Terrorblade Mirana offlane. So we're looking for a support that can deal a good amount of damage as well. Visage actually springs to mind for this one.
For Coast?
For Coast.
I could see that. I'm always holding out for Alina. I think Shadow Demon Lina needs to be played more, but yeah, I think just any sort of damaging hero, even if they don't require a setup for Shadow Demon, being able to put someone in a bubble and then have Terrorblade slowly walk up and land that pretty much melee range reflection is going to be devastating. As Goomba, they could do a lot of damage, but at the same time, they're not too tanky. Elder Titan is by no means invulnerable in the lane that he's in, and Wind Ranger is going to be the pickup. Huh, this is definitely not what I expected to come out from Team Coast.
No, I didn't either, and this partly makes me think that it's now a mid-Windrunner and a jungle Bat. This is an odd one, and it's going to be interesting how Coast lane this, since this is not that old style of draft that I'm used to. They usually go for the bigger, heavier, meatier, tankier heroes that can get in the enemy's face, but there are none of them here for Coast.
Yeah, I mean, Wind Ranger is going to be useful for her stuns. Doesn't really have that much to guarantee setup, which is never going to be greatest. Her Wind Run's going to be pretty nice against Elder Titan and Razor damage, but I don't know. I just feel like Wind Ranger is not the hero right now. You have Shadow Demon for setup, and are you going to set up a Shackle Shot? That's not really what you want to be doing with your heroes, and after all, it is going to be a Gyrocopter for Goomba. We pretty much just like mapped out Goomba's lineup. I'm pretty impressed.
We're getting there. But nonetheless, as this sort of shapes out the draft, Gyro, I think Gyrocopter could work quite well here. It will be able to chew through the illusions of Terrorblade to an extent, and he is a natural MKB carrier, so that's going to punish E-Skills, and it being an E-Skills Windrunner, that is a mid-Windrunner.
So we're going to see Wind Ranger over towards the mid lane. Most likely, it's going to be versus the Razor, and that's actually not a terrible matchup for the Radiant, as once the static link is out, you just run away, and then things are pretty simple. Scarith Mage Earthshaker, though, will very quickly put a stop to that, assuming rotation's out, and, with Scarith Mage Earthshaker rotation, you are also going to have a Mirana Shadow Demon rotation, so things are equally dangerous on both sides.
Yeah, this should be quite the aggressive game, I believe. A lot of it is going to be down to QP to farm up on that gyrocopter, but as we stand, I like these drafts. They're a bit more modern in terms of the style. Coast may be a little too squishy, but it can work. Don't get me wrong, it can work.
All right, so before we go over who's playing what and where they're going, the odds. Who do you like here?
I'm going to bet against Terrorblade. I'm going to say Goomba take this.
I agree. I feel like Goomba, they just have such a focused lineup. They have such high damaging heroes. They're all synergizing very well with the Elder Titan, and they just have, I think, overall a stronger lineup. So I think we're both on board the Goomba train, and, well, they're going to be smoking into the enemy jungle with Cube leading the way as the Gyrocopter. We have RMN on the Razor. Chill's going to be playing the Elder Titan. Edie's going to be supporting the Scarith Mage, as is Gasha on the Earthshaker.
And of course, you've got QP following up on that gyro there. But on the flip side of that coin, we do have Ape Mother handling the Terrorblade. We've got Seal Kid on the Shadow Demon. Over in the mid lane, we've got E-Skills Wind Runner. And then on the safe lane, you've got Solon handling the Bat. And of course, in the jungle, there is a Handskin Mirana.
Who doesn't have any items at all. What happened to her gold? Like, did you just funnel it all into E-Skills, or just bought all of the wards and the courier? That's what happened. She bought the courier, she bought the wards, it looks like, and that means the Shadow Demon is gonna have boots level 1. Is that really worth it? I don't know.
If you're playing the roaming Shadow Demon, then yes, and it's going to be up to him to really make use of them. If he's not going to be leaving the lane much, then it'll be a waste. When you see boots on a Shadow Demon like this, you expect aggression. Here we go with that aggression. The illusions will start. We get that reflection, perhaps, but no, the reflection was late, and that caused the arrow to miss, which is a big problem. In comes the sleep from the stomp. Chill should be completely safe here.
Yeah, that was unfortunately a little bit mistimed. I think the Terrorblade expected the arrow to follow through, and then reflection was just going to be an emergency spellcast if Chill was somehow still alive after that. But it was a little bit mislayered. Mirana maybe a little bit too far away for whatever reason, didn't expect the Elder Titan to be there, and it's going to be Chill slipping away. He is not going to have a fun time in this lane, though. Even though he did survive, he's now going to get put into another disruption. Arrow this time is going to land, and the damage into Chill isn't as high as it could be. Ape Mother deciding to go for Reflection instead of Metamorphosis is going to be enough to kill off Elder Titan regardless, but, you know, getting a kill is getting a kill, and Handskin is going to draw that one, so a little bit late on the first blood, but it's a first blood nonetheless, going the way of Team Coast.
Indeed, and if they can maintain this kind of tempo, it's going to certainly pay off, especially if they can get these kills with the Terrorblade. I mean, the Terrorblade, we all know how nasty he can be as a split pusher, but in fights, he can do a staggeringly large amount of damage just with Metamorphosis.
And that's from a very early stage as well. Like, once he hits level 2, then suddenly he's a very dangerous hero. Getting to level 7 on Terrorblade, and he is probably the most dangerous hero on the map, with some exceptions, but Metamorphosis is just so ridiculous. The downside of that, of course, is that it has the cooldown of an ultimate. 140 seconds is pretty damn high, and when you're in an offensive tri-lane like this, you don't really want to be hamstrung by the fact that if you don't have a skill, you're going to be completely crushed. So there are going to be openings for Goomba where their where their top lane is going to be very safe. There's also going to be openings where their top lane is going to get absolutely demolished.
That's the downside, really, of Terrorblade. He has, well, hot and cool spots, you could put it that way. And it's all going to be down to how Metamorphosis is used. But I'm keeping my eyes around the other lanes here, since we've got a matchup of R&M on the Razor up against E-Skills on the Windrunner. How do you think this matchup is going to fare?
I expect this lane to be fairly even. The Razor with the nuking power of Plasma Field is going to, you know, almost always hit the Wind Ranger, whereas Power Shot is a lot easier to dodge for the Razor. So he's going to get a slight edge in this lane, but nothing really too huge, I would say, as he can't go for kills versus the Wind Ranger. With Static Link and with Windrun nullifying Static Link, it's just not going to happen.
I can see that. I can see that. But I think it's going to be a bit more reliant on who rotates. If we get rotations from, say, the Earthshaker from the Skywrath Mage, it's going to be fairly nasty. And it will also be very good if E-Skills keep landing these power shots. That actually quite hurt R&M there. And he's going to have to play a bit more defensive. Just keeping in mind that the Windrunner isn't exactly a flimsy hero in terms of damage potential. But that aside, we are looking for rotations, and Hansken is going to start throwing the arrows in. Tries to get the arrow onto R&M, not going to quite land that one. Just the threat, and I'll put it this way, the threat that Coast can pose on all of these lanes with this Shadow Demon Mirana rotation is fairly large.
Yeah, and Goomba don't have any defensive rotations in order to counter this. The arrow's going to connect on a creep. Unfortunately for Coast this time, their timing was once again a little bit off, timing with the creep wave as opposed to timing with their other heroes. And it is going to mean that RMN survives this attempted gank. But at the same time, I mean, we have bottom lane where Cube is going toe-to-toe with the Batrider. The Magic Stick charges are going to help the Gyrocopter quite a bit, and I think that's why he's picked up Homing Missile at level 1. Usually you can't afford it, but when you have constant stick charges, you'll be able to do that. And now Gasha up on top is going to be in a little trouble. Seal Kid sees him, put him in the bubble. There we go, and here comes the arrow with the Curse landing as well. Stomp is going to stun out Seal Kid plus Handskin, but the Metamorphosis is out, and Gasha's going to be brought down very easily. Seal Kid taking a lot of damage from Chill, getting beaten down by that stapler gun. Now 8 Mother going to try to go for Chill. The sticking power isn't quite there, although the damage would be enough if they had another stun. It's going to be a kill going the way of either end.
For the final time, it's an anvil and not a staple gun. God damn it.
Hey, it's a stapling gun. I mean, that's not like a... Are anvils actually like shaped like that? Not like the traditional blacksmith anvils, to my knowledge.
What is Elder Titan's actual role in terms of the lore of Dota?
Yo, I don't know.
The
Enlighten
World
us.
Forger.
Yeah, and how are you supposed to keep the world together without staples?
You are a horrible human.
I know, I try.
That's the bad thing. We do get rotations towards that bot lane. Seal Kid leading the charge. You're going to find EDE. That could be quite nasty, but no, he's going to be forced to go into lane. Does throw the disruption onto the Gyrocopter instead. QP will eat a full arrow and will go down to Solon. This is actually quite the effective gameplay coming here out of Coast, and they're going to go for more. They're going to get Gasha without even breaking a sweat, and Solon on fire, quite literally. Now going to trade into EDE. Make that a triple kill for Solon.
Okay, so I think when we were talking about the lane or the game going the way of Goomba, we were assuming that Coast weren't going to be absolutely dominating 5 minutes into the game. These rotations from Seal Kid as well as Hanskin have been absolutely impeccable. Like, you can't really get much better than this, and they even came out at the perfect time. That was when Goomba were trying to go aggressive versus the Batrider, and the disruption pretty much canceled out all their damage output, and Batrider was free to turn around and just go to town, and now he's going to clear off the rest of these stacks. He's been clearing them out periodically, but unfortunately there's only just one troll left, so he's not going to be able to get that much done there, but he's well on his way to his Blink Dagger, and that is an incredibly dangerous item on any hero, let alone a Batrider.
Indeed it is, and the thing that sort of concerns me here is how easily Goomba are just letting Coast get away with this. I mean, you'd think the ward's vision would help out, but no, they've just been rotating with too many smokes. This kind of gameplay coming out of Coast is just so gank-oriented, so targeted. It's just punishing Goomba wherever they go.
And the really scary thing is that even with all these kills, it's not like Goomba have late game to fall back on, because they're up against a Terrorblade, and Terrorblade is having the time of his life. He's getting no pressure whatsoever. Elder Titan can't really do that much, especially when Terrorblade has Metamorphosis active, so Coast, they're protecting their Terrorblade by rotating around like this, and that's pretty much the game plan. That was why they picked the heroes that they did, so that they have the flexibility in order to protect the top lane. And well, they're going to try to go for Handskin, but Fissure into Call Down versus a Mirana is not going to work. I don't think it's ever going to work.
No, it's not. Not without any hard lockdown, keeping her for the entire duration of the kill. It's just such a decent draft coming out of Coast that they can just get away with this. I mean, Goomba, they're getting led around. Well, they're getting led around like a kid. It's quite distressing to see as well. And I just look across all these lanes here as we hear a random dog start barking. Mike.
It wasn't me barking. It was something else. My bad. Can't really control her.
Yeah, we know, but it's...
Can't raise Frankers in ESL chat, though, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah. It's standard procedure, man. That's what you do. It's
No,
not, I don't make the
just
rules.
no.
I just abide by them. We see RMN running into Seal Kid as well as Handskin. The arrow's going to land from point blank. Seal Kid just going to TP away. Nothing to interrupt there. But they're going to catch the Mirana on her escape. Fissure's going to wall her out, and she's going to go down. Had a leap, but got silenced and fissured.
There's no escape from that, and that's the danger of the Razor. This Razor can tank up fairly well, and One item that I think could be quite the pickup in this game for Goomba would be that Crimson Guard. You look at the physical damage of Coast. It's quite small in terms of damage per hit, but they attack so damn quickly. Except with Metamorphosis up, of course, and Chilla's taking a large chunk. Arrow's going to fly through, does impact, and well, Coast again getting a good kill, but now they're going to come in with RNM. 8 Mother getting his damage stolen away, cooldown as well. RNM needs to get this kill here, but he's starting to burn up. 8 Mother could go down to 2 more right clicks, will get the kill onto the Terrorblade, but now blink out by the Batrider. They will escape this one, and it's a 1-for-1 at the end of the day. They kill the Terrorblade off though, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, Terrorblade going down is absolutely crucial for Goomba, and they need to do that like 3 or 4 more times, and then they'll be feeling pretty good about this game. They could have gotten so much more. Unfortunately, they're just short of killing the Mirana, who leaped into the trees, and Batrider with the Blink Dagger also got himself to safety. Unfortunately for Goomba, their call down didn't hit anything. Like, the first missile is really what you want to have land, and it really didn't work out for Goomba at all. So it's still going to be a decent enough trade for them, but you know, making these trades, although it's going to benefit them because they got the Terrorblade, it's just not going to be enough. They need to take better fights than Coast at this point.
Indeed they do, and they can't really lose many more heroes if Coast can keep building up this advantage. And I'll take a quick look at the graph. Sure, it's only a 1,500 gold lead, as well as maybe a 500 experience lead, but these kills they're getting are so crucial, and they're just buying Terrorblade the space he needs. That's the biggest problem here. If they can keep that kind of thing up, it's going to be very rough for Goomba, but now we get a smoke. We're looking for more kills. It's going to be up to them to really find the kill onto Terrorblade, though. He is lurking in the jungle. 8 Mother is there. Is going for a... Ooh, he's actually just flying out south to him. I'm not unsure what item-wise we're going to see from the Terrorblade here. I would think treads into drum, maybe Aquila is another option, but... Well, 8 Mother in a lot of trouble now as he does get tethered. The long-range Fisher doesn't land, and the tether can't hold either. They're not going to be able to bring 8 Mother down at the end, and now he's just going to salve up, and all of that work for absolutely nothing.
And even if the Stack Link did land, it's only level 1, so it would need to be a lot of time for them to get that kill. They're also going to lose the Gyrocopter up on top, a simple lasso initiation there, doing the damage along with Mirana. Going to get a little bit of action out of that one as well. So Goomba, they really don't have heroes that are comfortable fighting at this stage, whereas Coast, as long as they get the initiation from Seal Kid, they're golden, and they don't even need that anymore since the Batrider could do all the initiation. So Goomba, I think they just need to be a little bit more defensive and, I don't know, just wait for this Elder Titan to get more levels. He's only level 8. He's been forced into 1 stomp, which is not really what you want. His aura is only level 1, and even though it is freshly buffed, it's still not exactly the most powerful skill in the game.
No, it isn't, and I feel very hesitant with my bet on Goomba at this point in the game. Sure, we're only 11 minutes in, but 7-3, it does say how well this early game has gone in favor of Coast, especially, I'll stress, in favor of Solon, considering the Batrider. But they lose the bottom tier 1. Can Solon catch anyone? He doesn't have the cooldown on Lasso, unfortunately. He can only really threaten versus RNM. If they can bring RNM down, that'll be absolutely golden. But RNM can continue just to hunt these heroes with that plasma field damage. And you look at the skill build he's gone for, it's 4-1-4 with 0 point up in the Eye of the Storm at this point. And to be honest, that sort of surprises me. Eye of the Storm is one of those abilities that you can get earlier on and just look to cause some damage. But QPE will, in the meantime, bring down the Mirana with 1 more right click. And E-Skills now, can he finish off QPE? I believe he can.
Right on the money with those double power shots. Mirana could have escaped. Unfortunately, she decided to turn and help kill off the Gyrocopter instead of just booking it, and well, it's going to cost her life. It's not really the terribly huge deal for Coast. Their Mirana is still doing a lot, and she doesn't exactly need a lot of gold in order to continue doing that much, and they're going to run to Chill as well. Seal Kid, E-Skills, are they going to want to go for this one? Not much mana on the Wind Ranger. Arrow's going to fly through from the south, though, and Chill's going to get stunned up. He's going to die very easily. Power shot blowing him up. And that's going to be yet another kill for the Wind Ranger. Coast, once again, making all these rotations happen, and Goomba seemingly playing with only, like, 3 heroes. I mean, obviously they have 5, but it seems like they're outnumbered at every single junction.
Indeed, every single fight has been a outnumbering in favor of Coast. Even these 4 kills Goomba have got, they were playing from behind as they lose the Gyrocopter again. Solon on fire again. This is just absolutely ridiculous.
And I think a little bit of this is attributed to the fact that Goomba's lanes weren't exactly what we thought. I think when you have a laning assignment, or when you have this type of Goomba lineup, you could pretty safely assumed that the Skywrath Mage, Gyrocopter, Earthshaker are all going to be playing together. It was mostly dual lanes for them, as the Elder Titan was solo up on top, not really commonly seen, and they didn't punish the Bat Rider, they didn't punish the Terrorblade. Their lanes kind of just flopped, and we're seeing the effects of that right now, as they can't really get anything going. Their Terrorblade, the enemy Terrorblade, is farming very happily towards drums, it looks like. Yeah, he's going to be completing his drums shortly. And Goomba don't really have anything in response. They're unable to get any kills because the only thing they have to open up is a fissure, and that's just not good enough.
They need more levels and time on their Elder Titan. He needs those last 2 points up in natural order.
Yeah, that natural order is going to be so important just to help them overcome their inherent disadvantages just by having not as much farm. If you get rid of all their armor and magic resistance, it's like having a little bit extra gold on all your heroes because they're doing that much extra in the fight. So it's a necessity, and it's not happening. Elder Titan is not finding any kills. In fact, he's been dying a lot more than he's been killing, so he's not getting any experience through that. And if you're not doing that, you have to be farming the lane, and he's not doing that either. So Goomba, they're kind of just stalling out right now, and this early on, you'd never want to be stalling out, unless you have like a turbo hyper carry like a Spectre. They're going to go for RMN, or Solon is trying to. He doesn't have the rest of his team behind him just yet. Plasma Field and the Arcane Bolt might kill him off, but he's very quick with the Haste Rune. He's going to restore himself with the bottle, and it looks like he will outrun that Arcane Bolt. He will survive. Everyone from Goomba actually getting pretty heavily roughed up by that. E-Skills and Handskin just throwing out their damage, and everyone from Coast should be able to survive, as will everyone from Goomba.
But QBE does get a lasso on that top lane from Solon, and can they bring him down? I believe they can. That power shot will clean up, and E-Skill's on fire once more. He's just getting power shot after power shot, kill after kill, working so well with Solon.
It's 11-4, and we see Coast with a pretty convincing lead. It's not the hugest as far as gold and experience are concerned. I would honestly expect a little bit more, but there's the spike. It's going to be upwards of 5k experience and 3,000 plus gold. It's a pretty sizable advantage 15 minutes into the game, especially when they have a lot of farm going towards their Terrorblade. He's not on the top of the net worth chart, but he's right behind his two friendly allies. So, and even though you're not dominating the gold chart on the Terrorblade, you're dominating the gold chart as a team, and that's really what counts. And now they're going to try to go for a little bit of a push down on bottom. Level 4 Metamorphosis with 4 Conjure Image. This tower is going to drop very quickly. And they're going to land an arrow up on ED on top. That was just a free-handed arrow. The Shackle Shot is also going to land. E-Skills doesn't have that much mana, however. It doesn't really matter. ED's going to drop everything he has, but the Force Staff is going to keep the Wind Ranger safe. Easy kill on the Skywrath Mage, plus an easy tower down on bottom. And Armen's going to try to defend with the Plasma Field. Here comes Cube from the side. We'll finally land a call down, maybe. Yes, Seal Kid is going to go down. Also, 8 Mother in an awkward situation is ready to use Sunder. He's going to TP out. Missile's not going to connect, and the tower is going to live. Not in deny range, though.
That's the slight downside here. They tried just to push him with Terrorblade, and they do have the ability to defend their towers, do Goomba, but it's still incredibly difficult to deal with. Speaking of engaging at towers, well, it seems like Teka can't really fight this anymore. He'll just stand there and accept his fate. Gasha unfortunately goes down to the Mirana of Hanskin once more, and Hanskin just continuing to charge around the map, just be that force to be reckoned with. And you've got to consider this is a 2-2-10 Mirana who only has a Bacillus.
I would actually expect her to have a little bit more. Like, she's got 10 freaking assists. She deserves a little bit more gold in this game. So Mirana is going to be playing the very poor role, but as long as she's constantly set up by Solon's lassos or Seal Kid's disruptions, the Mirana is going to be landing these arrows, and they're only level 2 arrows as well. I would expect her to be maxing out the arrow in this case, but instead going for the Starstorm, the guaranteed damage. It's the safe way to play Mirana, and you know, I don't mind that too much, but still, Coast, they're pretty much finding every single victory around the map. Their Terrorblade is farming, they're getting kills, and Goomba, their cores aren't farming either. Cube is stacking up some Ancients. He's got 2 stacks going, but it's not going to be enough to bring him back into this game. Top lane, also, they're setting up for a fight. Solon has his lasso available. Is soon to take to the air, I'm sure. The tower, maybe going to be denied. There's a fortification. E-Skills. Got to be a little bit careful. This is going to be a 2v3. The initiate onto the Skywrath Mage. The Shackle Shot is also going to land. E-Skills getting Force Staffed every which way. The Echo Slam onto Solon is going to bring him down, and it looks like the Wind Ranger off to the races is going to survive. Throws out another power shot, trying to kill off that Skywrath, but Skywrath is going to survive, and it's going to be a free kill on the Bat Rider. Initiating into one too many heroes, but Seal Kid and Cube, they're going to run into each other. Handskin throwing the arrow, perfectly set up, and yes, this is most likely going to be the death of the Gyrocopter. Stars are going to fall. That's going to be the death of the Gyrocopter. I would take that trade every day of the week.
Hanskin has just been on point with those arrows. Him and Seal Kid as a combination are damn scary. And you've got to consider, while this is all going on, that kill on the Batrider on that top lane, that gave the Earthshaker near enough for his Blink Dagger. He's at 1,800 gold right now. If he goes for the Arcanes, he could do, but I have a feeling that a Blink Dagger is all that more important at this point. Just being able to hit those Blink Echoes could be enough to turn this game.
And they're going to desperately need something to turn the game, because not only are they behind, they're going to lose their catch-up mechanic, as their Ancient stack is getting jacked by the Terrorblade. With the Metamorphosis already active, it's not the fastest. I mean, it only can hit one person at a time, or one Ancient at a time, rather. But the amount of damage the Terrorblade's putting out, this is a huge amount of gold, pretty much stolen by Coast, and they're going to be very happy about that. And Gyrocopter is going to be pretty damn upset. He's got pretty much nothing right now.
The Gyrocopter is suffering this game fairly heavily. He's trying to do everything he can. He wants the Helm of the Dominator, really, but bot lane, well, Razor can't do anything. There is just no way to solve this one, and 8 Mother on that Terrorblade is just living up to the namesake of the hero.
Yeah, and pretty much Soul and E-Skills, everyone from Coast are giving the Terrorblade so much space to do whatever they want. Honestly, even if the Terrorblade wasn't in this game, if this was a 4v5, Coast would still be in such a great position just because they are so far ahead. So the fact that they do have a hero to fall back on, and the fact that the hero is Terrorblade of all heroes, this is not good for Goomba. They're just not getting anything. Like, they're jungling a little bit. That's not good enough. Their Elititan finally has his aura maxed out, but 20 minutes into the game and he's almost at something that resembles a mech. This is just not good enough. Actually, does he have the mech? It looks like he does have the mech, so that's a little bit of a better situation for Goomba, but still less than ideal.
Less than ideal, I'll completely agree to, but they do have that Blink Dagger Earthshaker now, so he's going to try to be the comeback engine here. If he can, say, get a good Echo Slam, a good 4-man Echo, follow up with that Fissure, it can be enough to turn a fight, especially when you mix in the aura of the Elder Titan, QPE, and his cooldown. There is enough AoE damage to wipe out Coast. But speaking of wiping out Coast, they're going to go for E-Skills. They go for the Echo, they commit everything, and they bring down E-Skills.
I think that's worth it. Killing off the Wind Ranger, using 2 ultimates for that, and the Echo Slam, most of all, is going to be a pretty steep cost, but hell, when you're this far behind, you take what you can get, and in all honesty, I don't think the Earthshaker was going to get a huge 4-man Echo Slam anytime soon. Breaking the kill streak, getting the gold, getting the experience is definitely going to be worth the cost, but losing RMN, probably not as much so. Arrow's going to be thrown with the Curse to set up. Oh, this time it's going to miss. That's like the first time since minute 0. RMN's going to live.
That honestly surprises me, but I suppose maybe a little bit of nerves, one mistake or two, you can understand. Still, on the flip side of the coin, we do have Arcanes up for Gasha, but more importantly for the Terrorblade, Manta.
More illusions equals more fun, and when he gets a steady stream of illusions like this, he becomes almost at that Naga Siren status. Of course, not with Radiance or anything like that, but once he is metamorphed, then those illusions are going to be hitting so damn hard, and Goomba don't have the durability to withstand up against that. It's also, a lot of movement speed, which is useful versus the Razor and the Gyrocopter, so also that is not to be underestimated. The fact of the matter is, no matter what Terrorblade got, he's getting quite big, and Goomba, they don't have any heroes to mirror that.
And I was honestly surprised we didn't see, say, a BKB come out early from the Terrorblade of 8 Mother either, but now we go Moonlight Shadow, we're going to be looking for RNM. Is it just going to be a case of getting close and dropping a reflection? No, they're going to blink him with Solon, trying to find what they can. The arrow does fly, landing as well on EDE. He's going to go down in the arrow, and Goomba RNM, they're in a lot of trouble. They need to all fall back, but in comes the Earth Splitter. That's not going to connect on anyone, but they do manage to bring down E-Skills as Windrunner with a little bit more of the right clicks from QBE on that gyro. Still, a 1-for-1 at the end of the day, a core for a support. Can they find anything? Arrow's going to fly, not going to land this time. And 8 Mother taking so much damage, but there's the Sunder. QPE, got to respect the power of that Sunder. And now Solon just shows himself. He was hiding in the back lines the entire time. Mech pops. QPE going to survive a little bit longer. Solon may not, though. One more right click, or the Spirit will kill him, but no, it'll be a Fissure instead. Gasha, however, will now go down to the rest of the lineup. The Terrorblade comes back in, and it's a 2-for-2.
You would expect the burst damage to be coming out a lot more consistently for Goomba. Unfortunately, the Scarith Mage, for whatever reason, was unable to drop his ultimate. I think he was dead. I mean, that's a pretty good reason. And when you don't have that burst damage, Terrorblade is very slowly going to turn around and sunder you. Gyrocopter ordinarily will be doing a lot of damage, but he actually doesn't have that much. He's actually gone for a very peculiar skill build. I guess this skill build technically does help him deal more burst damage, but this is pretty much why they're not farming as well, because he doesn't have the farming mechanism. And at the end of the day, Coast, they get a little bit... They probably take the worst fight that they've taken all game, but still it was good for them.
Yeah, I'll throw down the same on that one. It was the best fight they could have got. They lost the... What did they lose in that one? They lost the Skywrath Mage, as well as the Gyro, I want to say?
Yeah, it wasn't that much of a gain for Coast.
Yeah, it wasn't that much of a game for Coast, but they managed to bring down the Batrider once more. And that Batrider is worth a sizable penny. But now, well, Soren's going to find EDE. This is very problematic for EDE. He's in no man's land. Mystic Flare completely on the wrong side. He'll go down to one more right-click of Handskin. Handskin just doing work. You've got Eye of the Storm up by RNM, though. Can they find anything with that one? Lasso is ready to go. Going to go straight into an RMM, but going onto a raise like that isn't the easiest target with the Lasso, but with all of that backup, with the arrow, with E-skills, there is just far too much. But the Spirits are still charging around. Handskin gets the hell out of dodge with that 4-staff and will at least buy some time.
Man, that Earth Splitter did a crap ton of damage, but it is a kill on the Razor, as well as a kill on the Skywrath Mage, and Coast are going to be... They didn't really try that hard for them, quite honestly. They just caught the Skywrath Mage in awkward position, caught the Razor trying to flee with an arrow, as Handskin going to, once again, keep his arrow percentage, I want to say near the 80% mark. He's been on point with them, and, well, E-skills still in the area, is going to start focusing his fire on Chill, not going to make anything happen with that, but Coast getting more and more, and Goomba continuing to struggle.
If they can find anything on this top lane, that's going to certainly help out. Gasha comes in, was hiding in that sidelines. They're going to try to bring down Solon. The Fisher does land, but will the cooldown be enough to finish him off? I don't think it will. They need to bring him down, but he is just hiding in those trees so effectively, and Gasha will go down to one more flame break of that Batrider.
And Chill potentially in a little bit of trouble as well, as Seal Kid is still under Guise of Moonlight Shadow. The Mirana, though, is being warded away. E-skills is going to be set up for a shackle, not going to land. Not exactly dependable. Seal Kid's going to drop everything he has. Mirana's going to be brought down with Skywrath Mage solo up on top. Seal Kid's going to be punched down by the Razor and the Elder Titan combination. Now this Aura is searching for someone. The Spirit is going to be searching. They're not going to find anyone additional, but hey, Goomba, take a 2-for-1. It's about time they get something going.
Indeed it is, and what's going on with the Terrorblade this entire time? Look at that. Oh, look at that bottom lane. That is a wall of illusion. Don't really want to be fighting that at all. And Ape Mother was looking for the reflection, didn't quite manage to find it, but instead will scrap a tier 2 like it's a non-existent playhouse. And in fact, QPE comes back round. That's a very daring gyrocopter.
And at the same exact time, top lane, a little bit of fight broke out. The Elder Titan barely lipping out of there with his life. The mech and bottle charges helping him to escape the shackle shot from E-skills, which, again, much like everything else for Team Coast, have been pretty much 100% on point. We're 25 minutes in to take another quick look at the graphs, and this is, I think, pretty accurate. 7,500 plus in net worth, 7,500 in experience. Coast have everything going for them, and Goomba, they're still not farming enough. Helm of the Dominator up on Gyrocopter is great when you pick it up like 10 minutes in, but at this stage, it's definitely not enough. He needs something that's going to help him smash things, and well, BKB, it's not going to be one of those items. I think he's essentially ignorable. For the most part, he is ignorable by Coast.
At the minute, it feels like he's more plinking bullets off of metal helmets in terms of damage instead of using a rocket launcher. But I suppose MKB, he needs it. Otherwise, he's just going to go down to the stun combination and the magical damage of Coast. I mean, there is a lot of power in Coast's lineup, but the Gyrocopter needs at least 15 more minutes of farm near enough. He needs that BKB. He needs that MKB. It's a very disastrous position to be in.
And if he had those stacks from earlier, he would be pretty much, or he wouldn't be there, but he would be a lot closer. And speaking of stacks, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks of Ancients now on the Coast sides of it, on the Coast Ancient side. So once Terrorblade gets a little bit of time, he'll farm those up, and it looks like he's going to be going for an Eye of Scotty, I want to say, on him. It's a big item to pick up on Terrorblade. It makes you so tanky, and you're already doing a lot of damage, so you can't really ask for much more. It is a very expensive item, but when you're getting everything you could possibly want, go for the biggest ticket item you could find, and that's going to be the Eye of Scotty. They're going to go for a top lane push, and they're going to find the Gyrocopter. Poor Gyro. He's going to dodge all the stuns. He's going to lay down his call down. It's not going to be hitting onto anyone, unfortunately, for him, but a kill's a kill for Coast, and maybe they're looking for a little bit more. Arrows cooling down in 5. Shackle shots cooled down right now. And there's a shackle onto the Skywrath Mage of all people. Flame Break gonna land onto no one, in fact, but here's the Echo Slam onto only 8 Mother. The burst damage going to be there this time. They bring down the Terrorblade. Now everyone from Coast on the run. Seal Kid still seemingly wanting to fight. Probably not a good idea because the rest of his team isn't behind him. There's nothing to interrupt this TP though, so he gets away, and it'll just be a 1-for-1 trade. Terrorblade dropping is going to be very much so trading out the Gyrocopter for Goomba.
A pretty good fight, in all honesty, for Goomba. I mean, killing the Terrorblade is pretty much worth it, considering it's worth so much more than that Gyrocopter. But they need more objectives. If you look at the map right now, there are still 2 Tier 1s standing for Coast. That needs to be remedied, considering Goomba are losing their Tier 2s.
Yeah, and if they could get a little bit more of a convincing fight, they'll be able to take out these Tier 1s pretty easily. I mean, mid lane is pretty healthy, top lane, though, not so much. So they could go for these if they get a good team fight. That hasn't happened yet. The best we've seen from Goomba is a 2-for-1, and that's not exactly anything to write home about. They're still farming, and, well, they're actually smoked up with Seal Kid as well as Handskin. These 2 heroes do not want to be in this area. They're going to chuck an arrow onto Cube, and it's going to be about it. I think that was that blind? I think that might have been blind.
Yeah, I believe that was blind. They didn't have any high ground vision at that point, so whatever they can get, really, just so they can escape. They threw it just blind to get the hell out of dodge. But seems it's going to be mid-tier 1. I think they can hear me, I get that feeling. But RNM pops a Shiva's Guard, and Hanskin will go down at least. That's 1 kill, 308 gold. That's going to help out in recovery, but I was not expecting, say, the Shivas on RNM, but now we're going to go in for more. Solon grabs RNM, tries to drag him back. Asher does what he can, but Seal Kid is there with that purge. RNM in a lot of trouble, doing everything he can to try to survive, but there is too much damage. We'll go down to that power shot at the end of the day, and E-Skills now comes in, has that focus fire, and just shredding QPE.
It's another 2-for-1, but this time it's in favor of Coast. Their Batrider almost went down to a concussive shot of the Skywrath Mage. If it landed, it would have killed him, but the Shadow Demon was there with the disruption, and the Batrider gets to live and fight another day. Losing a Mirana, it's, again, only a Mirana. She's picked up phase boots and drums since we last looked at her seriously, and that's about it. So losing her, it's not really a huge deal for Coast as they take down 2 of the most important heroes for Goomba, the Gyrocopter as well as the Razor, being the only late game hope for Goomba at this point. And if you bring them down and deny them that late game, well, then you're going to win the game before then. So Terrorblade is going to be farming up his quad stack of Ancients now, and there's nothing that Goomba could do about this. This should be his second ultimate orb at the very least, maybe even his point booster on top of that.
Well, all of these illusions from 8 Mother are at least shredding up the Ancient camp, and, well, that Skadi is getting close.
Is it even going to be completed after this? No, it's another ultimate orb, and that's about it. Yeah, another ultimate orb is going to be purchased, but he's creeping slowly and slowly closer to that Eye of Skadi. And Goomba, what do they have in response? A BKB? That's not going to be doing anything. A Force Staff on Elder Titan? A Shiva's Guard? I mean, they're okay, but that's about it. It's just okay.
Well, still, that's very close to completion now. He's only 375 gold, 300 gold away from that full Skadi. And when that comes online, it's going to be so much harder to kill. And you've still got RNM trying to tank up, trying to do what he can. He did go for that Shiva's Guard that gives him a good amount of armor. He's out of drum charges. He's got treads, so he's at least relatively tanky. He can dish out some right click, but there's no real physical right click item for RNM. He's just going for the sheer anti-carry route, and QPE is the target, unfortunately. He's the bulk of the damage, really, in terms of carry potential. And E-Skills will come in with that lasso. There's no escape. There is just no way out. And RNM does get purged. The Earth Splitter will connect with nothing. And can they get Seal Kid at least? They need something in exchange. Arcane Bolt will seal the deal, and EDE picks up the killing spree. But while this is all going on, there is a Terrorblade in your base, and where there's a Terrorblade in your base, there tends to be no base. 8 Mother just shredding the place, and Chill going to be the target. He just gets caught by the reflection, and can he survive this one? I don't think so. Instead, 8 Mother will turn around and just start shredding the building once more. But back in the other fight, you've got Gasha being chased down by the entire lineup. Arrow will connect and bring him down.
And still the Terrorblade is actually being chased down. He will be silenced up. No Sunder available. I think he had Mantis Style, but he might not have had the mana to cast it, so he is going to go down in exchange over on this bottom lane. Regardless, it is still a beneficial fight from Coast. Losing the Terrorblade is nothing fantastic, but he pretty much has his Eye of Scotty whenever he wants to ship out the courier, and he looks like he will do that right now. So Eye of Scotty's been completed. He's brought down the tier 3 tower. The range rack's almost down, not quite going down, but if he had Metamorphosis, oh man, Elatitan would have gotten his ass kicked so easily. And Coast at the same time, they were fighting a profitable fight up on the top lane. Once they saw that Goomba were trying to teleport back in order to stop the Terror Blade, they jumped into action, they canceled one TP, and they killed off a couple more heroes up on top. So even though it's Goomba taking the Terror Blade down, at a certain point, that's just not going to cut it anymore. And I think it's at this point where, even though you may bring down the Terror Blade, it's going to be Wind Ranger with a completed Sheepstick and Maelstrom to fall back on. It's going to be Batrider with Mask of Madness and Boost of Travels. Literally, or not literally, but pretty much everywhere on the map. And it's really difficult for Goomba, and so far they just haven't made any sort of advances at all. Like, if they had something going for them, I'm sure we would list it out, but I don't think they have anything. They have a tanky Razor. That's not going to win you any games, especially when this happens. Batrider up into the air, going to miss Cube this time. Did he actually force staff the Gyrocopter out? I think he did. Solon might have just given that one away.
But it does not matter. In comes from the sidelines. E-Skill's looking for what he can. He'll bring down the Skywrath Mage, but just look at the convergence of heroes coming through. They're looking for that Fisher. E-Skills does get blocked. Earth Splitter as well. That will actually be enough for the kill from the Elder Titan of Chill.
So it's a nice trade for Goomba, but again, trade's not good enough at this point when you're this far behind. Actually, trades do benefit you technically when you're this far behind, but still, it's not enough. They need to make so many more of those, and I don't think they're going to get the opportunity to do so, as E-Skills was kind of being really bold on that Wind Ranger. Still in the bottom lane, Terrorblade is making himself at home, and still on the top lane, it's going to be Coast making themselves at home, and oh, they're going to find RMN. Don't mess this one up, Solon. There you go. Going to pull him back into an arrow. I think I've seen this one before. Do they have enough damage this time? Because this time Shiva's up, and the damage, yeah, it's going to be more than enough. It's going to be a very easy kill up on top lane, just with a Mirana and Batrider.
And while this is all going on, you've still got a Terrorblade poking away at your bot lane. 8-Mother just being a constant pest with that Conjure Image as well as his Manta. So he's just going to set up, and this is very problematic. This is incredibly problematic for Goomba.
I think this is definitely going to be a Divine Rapier game for the Gyro. Like, you don't really want to be going for it because he could barely afford a BKB, but you're far enough behind so that the Hail Mary makes sense.
The Hail Mary in this case is pretty much the only route. And he does have that BKB now, so if you're going to do it at any point, it's now. The thing is, he's 6,200 gold missing. They need to turtle this one out quite heavily, and this would be a very long game if Goomba want to take it.
I think Coast are going to look to end this one shortly enough. With the Eye of Scotty complete on the Terrorblade, he is going to get stronger with more items, but not if he gets jumped like this. Fissure is going to fly. 8-Mother is not getting focused down, though. EDE and they just couldn't actually decide on what they wanted to do, and Terrorblade's going to escape. I think if they dropped everything, they could have brought him down, and that would have been worth dropping everything for.
Oh, in the meantime, you do have E-Skills coming in. Oh, sorry, Solon coming in onto EDE. That's going to cause problems. He's dying just to the fire, and Solon forces himself out so he doesn't get caught. But EDE will TP home. Top lane, however, E-Skills getting chased by that rocket. That rocket is going to hurt when it hits, so they might chase for this one, considering 8-Mother is also going to just, well, 8-Mother will just destroy the rocket. What can we say? I did not expect that level of damage to come out from the Terrorblade illusion onto the rocket, since generally illusions deal less damage to that thing than heroes. But quite the ability to force them out, at least, coming out of Goomba. They can fight at these tier 3s fairly well.
Yeah, that was Coast initiating within the Goomba base just with a blink into a Shackle. It's not the best way to start a fight, especially when you're trying to go for a Razor with Focus Fire. Like, he already has a ton of armor. When you're lowering your damage with Focus Fire, you're not really getting too much progress, but still, it's a Coast just asserting their map dominance and 8-Mother getting even more farm. I think it's about time for Coast to start looking towards high ground. I mean, a little bit more seriously than they just did, but maybe a BKB is what they're waiting for. 8-Mother pretty much has that item.
Well, if they go for the BKB and then look to initiate, that might be the order of business here. And they're going to find QPE. Oh, we've seen this before. This is starting to become traditional, but then again, in comes Gasher to try to save QPE. If he gets his BKB off and can turn a fight, that'll be okay, but he's just taking too much right-click damage. Solon, unstoppable.
Coast are just, like, enjoying this game way too much. They're getting kills wherever they go. and they're actually kind of falling behind in objectives. Like, with this much of a lead, you want to be pushing the base. They're going to chase down RMN. Arrow from point blank. Yes, you are not teleporting out of this Razor. There is no Metamorphosis, but I don't think it matters because with the Eye of Scotty, RMN has nowhere to run. He's taking a lot of damage even without Metamorphosis, and Hanskin is somehow going to snag that kill from under 8 Mother, but a kill is a kill, and now a Refresher Orb, really, on the Bat Rider. You don't see that every day.
No, you don't. And with the Refresher, he's just going to go for that double lasso, drag 2 people around behind him. It's going to be a very nice thing in this case, and, well, just... it's a show of force more than anything.
Yeah, they are just so far ahead right now, but they're refusing to push up these objectives. It's not like Goomba are making absolute crushing defenses. It's not like Coast tried and they got repelled because of an amazing Goomba defense or even a mediocre Goomba defense. They just haven't attempted to go up into the base, which is kind of annoying because, I mean, with this much of a lead, you can breach the high ground pretty easily, but they're just messing around and just trying to get even more farm on their Terrorblade, which is, I guess, a safer way to go, kind of, but why risk it when the Terrorblade is pretty much the scariest hero on the map? He's on the top of the net worth chart by quite a large margin.
If he can maintain that level of net worth, this is going to be quite worrying. I mean, 21,000 net worth on the Terrorblade and only going up. What does he actually build from here, though?
Well, he could replace the Aquila as well as Drums, so that's 2 item slots. Butterfly with any sort of illusion hero is going to be fantastic since you make the illusions stronger through the agility. Or going for crit would be good as well, or both. So, items along those lines, I think.
If he can get any form of itemization like that, that's going to be quite nice. I'll completely agree. But we do still have some signs of life from Goomba. Now, I'm going to quickly bring up the net worth graph here. That's a 20,000 net worth. Same for experience. In fact, nearly a 25k experience lead. So, if this one can be turned by Goomba, it will be a game for the records.
Yeah, and with the lack of Coast actually pushing in and trying to end the game, it's giving Goomba more and more chances in order to get things going. Because I think if Coast went 10 minutes ago and they just grouped up as 5 and then tried to crash Goomba's base, they probably could have gotten a set of Raxes. But they instead kind of decided to wait, and now they're going to have a little bit more to deal with. As Goomba, they are picking up occasionally an item here and there, and they're getting levels on the Earthshaker, stuff like that, in order to give them a fighting chance later on. So Coast, by not pushing in, it's not just annoying because I think they could win right now and they're not, but it's also giving Goomba an opportunity to get back into this game as they pick up more and more farm.
Indeed, I honestly thought we would see the same kind of death ball push coming out of Coast once they had that critical mass, but we got 3,000 gold on RNM. We've got another 500 gold on Gashman. He has a Veil of Discord on top of that Blink now, so he's going to be dishing out a fair amount of magical vulnerability. For QPE, nothing special on him yet as I've passed that BKB, but more importantly, on the Elder Titan, we've now got an AC. The AC is going to be quite scary, no matter how you look at it. And then, well, there's still the Scareth Mage, and he has a 4-staff and Arcanes, but he can provide a good amount of damage with that Mystic Flare, which is almost level 3.
And especially if you layer that Mystic Flare with Ancient Seal plus the Natural Order, it's going to be doing so much more than the advertised damage. So Coast, it's getting to be the point where they should make a play happen, or else they're in danger of losing the game. But they're still like in complete control. Like they're just gonna send illusions down to the bottom lane, and Razor can't clear these out, and they're gonna lose range Rax. Arman's gonna be tagged with an arrow. No follow up on this one though. Hanskin is going to try to take down the melee Rax, but jump forward, lots of damage onto her, but she will be saved by a bubble. They're gonna lose the gyrocopter over in the sidelines. Batrider's gonna get that kill. Now Geisha is gonna be chased down by 8 Mother. Sunder's available. There you go, right onto Chill. 8 Mother's still dropping very low though. He's going to limp away. Moonlight Shadow's there, and Arman has no detection. This is just a 3v3 over on the bottom side, or 3v4 or whatever. As 2 heroes from Coast are still up on top and still pretty much at full HP. Not a huge effort for going high ground, but still it's 3 kills for free for Coast, and you can't really be too upset about that.
No, you can't. Even though they lost the 2 heroes in that top lane just to the Solan Batrider as well as the Shadow Demon. It was, well, not Shadow Demon, the Windrunner even from E-Skills. That was quite the nasty combination, and being able to bring down QPE as well as the Earthshaker, sorry, not the Earthshaker, the Scareth Mage like that, it's a very worrying sign for Goomba still. They need to get a good 5-man defense. They have some signs of life. They're not dead yet.
they're just mostly dead. There's a big difference between mostly dead and dead.
It's like radiation poisoning. You could be really sick, and then you get, before death, that period of, oh, I'm fine, dead.
You just gotta juice up on Radaway and then hope you survive.
Either way, for RNM, he's continuing to farm up. How much gold has he got? He's got 1,400. He picked up a Maelstrom on the Razor, so the Lightning Lord wanting more lightning, it seems. But not the item I would have thought that we would see in this game, at least on a Razor.
Yeah, Razor is typically a hero that hits hard, not fast, so you want to be hitting fast with the Maelstrom so you get more lightning, or more chances for lightning procs. Regardless, it is going to help his damage output. Now they're going to initiate onto Geisha, and as well as RMN in trouble both. E-Skill's going to get hit with the full-on Mystic Flare. Going to survive, though, by the skin of his teeth. Now Seal Kid going to be dropped down by the Earthshaker, and it's going to be a support for support so far. Is there going to be anything else happening? Yes, the bottom lane is dropping, as Batrider is being chased by Cube. I think this is just going to be a missile kill. Cube probably wants to chase this one so he can grab the gem, but bottom lane's in full breach. And this is going to be melee Raxes. Here comes Chill. Can he do anything? I don't think he can. RMN possibly can do a little bit more, but 8 Mother has a nice little illusion army. Cube is now in the front of this fight, but 8 Mother just going to town, trying to TP out of this. Is there anything that they have to cancel? They actually don't have anything even on their team to cancel that, so it's a nice, clean escape from the Terrorblade. The Raxes have finally been taken, and still they take more kills than they lose.
And the MKB is now up as well, which caused... the Butterfly is now up as well on that Terrorblade, which causes so many more problems. QPE now requires an MKB, as if the number of items he needed was any smaller. He needs an MKB. He needs a Divine Rapier. He just needs far, far too much.
No, guys. Let's just play this game. Let's take a quick look at the items, as we've been kind of covering them, as there's been not that much action. It's been kind of in small bursts. We do see a Desolator, I believe, built up by Mirana. Yes, that's a completed Desolator, which is flying out to her right now. Desolator Sanjiasha, she's been making some pretty large advancements as far as items are concerned, and that's just mostly all the time that the rest of the teammates have been bringing her. The Butterfly is up, as we said, and not much on the Wind Ranger, although, well, 4950. She could finish up her Mjolnir if she wants, or get anything else.
Yeah, I'll completely agree with that one. And well, I look at the Wind Ranger. What else could he opt for here? If he wants to finish up the Mjolnir, I'd say get an Aghanim Scepter first, just so you have that proc chance.
Get anything. Get, like, an MKB for fun. Like, it doesn't even matter.
We'll see. We will see. But I continue looking around the map. You got like Sanjay Yasha and Hanskin. He's had that a long time. He's got a full Desolator flying out to him as well. This is a support Mirana, I'll point out. That's not a support. That's a semi-carry.
Yeah, I mean, 45 minutes into the game, it's a little bit less than where you want to be, but hell, she was broke. Like, 20 minutes in, she didn't have Jack, so Mirana's making huge advancements, and so if you compare that to the quote-unquote support heroes of Goomba, nothing on the Skywrath Mage. There hasn't been anything on him for a very long time. Earthshaker with the Veil, I mean, it's a nice item to have, but only if you use it. And I don't know if I've seen him use it. So the items for Goomba are dead, whereas Coast, they have Terrorblade, who's almost 6-slotted. It's 1,300 gold into whatever he wants to buy. Mirana's getting to that point as well. I think Mirana, how close is she to the Gyrocopter? She's narrowly ahead. That's not where you want to be as Gyrocopter, ever.
It's a terrifying place to be in, and well, 1200 net worth gyro. It's not really anything that you can think of. You're 44 minutes into a game. You got 12,000 net worth on a gyro. That just does not work.
You would expect these types of items like 30 minutes, right? Like that'll be okay if you had BKB, Helmet Dominator, Phase Boots, Drums.
At 30 minutes? 25 to 30 minutes, yes. 45, near enough, no.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. Like, this Gyrocopter needs to be doing something, and he's not doing anything. The MKB is needed on him. He needs more damage. He needs more survivability. Honestly, I don't know how Goomba are still in this game. Like, I feel like they should have just been out of this 15 minutes ago. But Coast not making any dedicated effort. They're just taking their time and getting 6 slots on everyone. Batrider, I think, is topped out completely. Like, what do you get on Batrider after this?
I don't know. I mean, the gem is pretty much one of the better items on him. You could get rid of the Mask of Madness and get a Yule's. I suppose Mask of Madness gives you more of a burst speed when you need it. Yule's would give you more control. You could go for a sheep stick instead of the mask. Or instead of the gem, I suppose. But then who would you put your gem on? I suppose the Terrorblade, since the illusions would then gain the gem properties.
Terrorblade can't afford those item slots. You have to give it to like a support or something, right?
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose. It's a hard one to call, though. But the reason I mentioned the Terrorblade is if you think the old style of, say, Phantom Lancer, you would put the gem on the Phantom Lancer because his illusions all gain the gem property. Same kind of logic.
Yeah, the gem is the true sight is technically an aura, and illusions hold auras, so that's how that works. More necessary knowledge for any Dota player. Not really, but kind of. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of upset that Refresher Orb is on cooldown. That means I missed a potential double lasso. And I've actually never seen or never casted a game where Batrider has lassoed two guys. I want to see it.
I've cast a game like that once. It's comical to say the least. It's a fun one to see.
Do they still maintain their collision? Like, do they bump into each other as they're dragging?
I believe so, actually, since there is no property that gives them unit phase, so they should still maintain their collision. Yes.
Huh. God damn it, Solon! Show that to me now. I want to see it. It's hard to do, though. It is hard.
It is very hard to do, and it'll all be down to Solon and his positioning, but I have faith.
Alright, so that's what I want to see by the time this game ends. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone already knows how we feel about the current state of this game is Coast with an overwhelmingly huge advantage. Might as well just go for style points, because those are definitely relevant. Roshan is up. Maybe they should just go for that. I don't know how long this Roshan has been up. I want to say a very long time. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen them attempt it.
Roshan, I think we've not seen a Roshan in a good 15 minutes, near enough. We saw a Roshan go on to... Who did it actually go on to? Went on to the Razor, didn't it? No, it can't have.
It was so long ago, man. Like,
yeah, long time
this
ago.
Roshan has been chilling for a very long time. Well, Roshan is lucky, I guess. He dodges death for a game where he should be, at the very least, holding cheese right now. I think that's really the indicator of how long this Roshan has been here. It's 45 minutes into the game, and he doesn't have cheese, so there's that.
True. I grant that there's not been many Roshans this game, but for Goomba, this is getting to be an awkwardly long pause, considering it was just meant to be a restart.
Hey, they didn't say what they were restarting. Gotta restart everything, and that takes a hell of a long time. I mean, you can't really like give up in this situation, otherwise they would have already just tapped out, but hey, look at them. Their coasts are on the same wavelength as us.
Yeah, coasts tend to be. They like to joke around. They have the same kind of mentality.
Alright, well, I mean, Goomba, they're pretty much on their deathbed. They are showing some signs of life, like the EKG is still beeping, but that's about it, because Terrorblade is about to claim some souls. He is 300 gold. I think with the Butterfly, you just go for a Daedalus. I mean, you could... What else is there? Nothing more powerful springs to mind.
No, I don't think anything else more powerful could really spring to mind.
What do you think about Abyssal Blade, Terrorblade? I've never gotten to that point.
No, because it has the same percentage to bash as a range hero when he has Metamorphosis online. It's not a general good idea, and it's not stat-based damage. It's damage, so it doesn't propagate to the illusions in the same way as, say, the damage from Metamorphosis.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just freeballing questions to you just because we're in such an awkwardly long pause, but okay. Well, we're gonna get back into it, guys, and hopefully there is no such pause again, because those suck. Just watch ESL 1 New York. Oh.
Bad Mike.
Hey,
Bad.
I'm allowed to fire shots from over here. They can't reach me.
Well, you are that side of the pond. Who knows? They could send someone down.
Yeah, I'm actually just like 30 minutes away. I could have gone, but I didn't want to spend the money.
Surely you've got some contacts.
I mean, I could have gone, but do I want to go? I don't really want to go. Then I can't be here casting this game if I was there.
Good, I could trade you in for Grandis.
Okay. Grandis, I need a tap out. Take the stream. I'm going to New York City.
I'll buy equal numbers of shots. Usually against Hefla, mind you, but...
Hey, you can fire
as it
shots at
stands.
anyone. Oh wait, Armen is gonna find Hanskin, the blink 4 for the chain stun. He's gonna leap out of there before the enchant totem lands. And now Hanskin is gonna go into the invis. Is there any true sight? Doesn't matter. I don't think it does. He's gonna go down. Finally, it's a free pick off for Goomba. Where were these like 45 minutes ago? And now, well, Cube gonna get lassoed out of his base. There's only a single one, but now the gyrocopter is very far away. Where did everyone go though? He just lassoed him for the sake of lassoing, I guess. There was literally no follow-up there.
Well, Coast, maybe a little on tilt after that pause. Who knows? Losing the Moran like that surprises me greatly.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, only a Mirana, so it's not really a terribly huge deal. And the price that they pay for the Mirana is that they get Roshan, so I think that's going to be pretty nice. As the Wind Ranger, now with that Aegis, still at almost 6,000 gold. I mean, at a certain point, saving for buyback is nice, but I think she's a little bit past that point. Finish your Mjolnir at the very least if you're concerned about your item slots.
I'm inclined to agree with that completely. That the thing I look at this and I see Maelstrom on E-skills. Sure, that makes some sense, especially with rapid fire. But the Aghanims is pretty much the Aghanims makes that so much more powerful. I mean, can target buildings and spell immune units. That's a nice thing about the rapid fire. But when you've got the Aghanims upgrade, it also gains the 0% scepter damage reduction of using rapid fire. It's huge. That's colossally huge.
Yeah, get free 30% damage with all that attack speed as well. Bat Rider's going in deep for Chill. He's going to refresh and he's going to bring him back further. You're not going anywhere, Chill. He was near his fountain, but now he's right in the clutches of E-skills. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but it's certainly the most hilarious way to do it. In the meantime, Mirana also goes down yet again. So it's only a 1-for-1 trade, but holy
Plus the
shit,
tier 1
that was
tower.
awesome.
Plus the tier 1 tower.
Huge gains.
That tier 1 tower has been a blight on Goomba's map for quite a while.
Well, I mean, that is not exactly what I thought with the double lasso, but I mean, he brought the Elder Titan pretty much all the way from the building right to the right of the Ancient to E-skills, who is outside of the base, so I guess it's pretty sweet in order to initiate. Is it worth the 5,000 gold of the refresher? Or probably not, but at least something is happening, I guess.
I guess, but I'm just trying to think how Goomba can still fight into this one. I mean, they've got the Demon Edge now on QPE. But is that going to be the MKB or the Divine Rapier? As in comes Solon, and it seems like QPE is going for a trip. Well into that Terrorblade's range of grasp, and well, that's quite the easy kill right there. If they keep doing that, that's going to be very difficult.
I mean, they have been doing that for pretty much the entire game. That's the 12th death of the Gyrocopter. Does he have the most deaths in the game? He does. And that's the #1 core hero for Goomba. That's like the worst possible scenario you could ever find yourself in. Seal Kid is going to get a Mystic Flare dropped on him. He will survive just barely, although another Arcane Bolt will kill him off unless he could get unsilenced. He's going to go down. Now the rest of the fight's going to break out. Chills is getting focused down by 8 Mother. Huge Echo Slam will clear off all the illusions. Now 8 Mother into the BKB. Will trade hits with Arman, Sunder Gasha, and then kill him off as well. That's 3 down for Goomba. Now Chill going to try to Echo Stomp. The BKB is actually going to wear off from 8 Mother, but it's not going to matter because he gets the kill regardless. Buybacks from everyone who has it onto Goomba. Jumping right back in is Arman, but he instantly gets hexed up. Where is the Terrorblade? Where'd he go? Get back in there, Terrorblade, you coward. He doesn't want to fight. And Goomba are going to buy back and defend successfully. E-skills going to get 4-staffed out twice. And Goomba are still going to hold their base. Coast, it seems like they just ran out of steam in that one.
Thing is, they didn't run out of steam. They still had a lasso, for Christ's sake, as well as Hanskin's damage, the Terror Blade. You had everything minus Sunder, to which is available once more. Maybe they didn't want to fight without Metamorphosis. That would be a more logical argument.
Well,
But now, even the Terror Blade's got an AC. I mean, this is getting to the point of absurdity.
yeah, they've been kind of slow rolling the entire game, so I guess there's no reason to stop slow rolling now. There's literally nothing else a Terrorblade can get right now. Like, there is no more item progression. You can't even do, like, Refresher Orb stuff. Maybe get a Necro Book and do that Courier stuff, but is that necessary in this game?
No.
No, it's not.
We got more travels coming online, though. At least, well, we're seeing travels of aggressive potential of going for buildings or kills. But 41 plays 20, I suppose. Advantage Coast, I suppose we say, as they're 40,000 gold up, as well as 30,000 experience.
And, well, Mirana still isn't 6 slotted, so I think Coast are going to wait for another 50 minutes, and we're going to get those 6 slots on her, get her Daedalus, and holy crap, the Batrider went down.
Yes, he came in and immediately got hit with an Echo Slam and Mystic Flare. He paid for that with his life. How much gold was he worth? 2,500 gold, as well as 3.3k experience.
And even if he did get someone, he wouldn't have been able to bring them to any of his allies, so I don't even know why he was there, but are Coast really going to go ahead and sacrifice their Batrider and then push in? That seems incredibly idiotic, and, well, they're going to leap out of that danger zone and maybe even turn around. Mid lane is in full breach. Gasha is going to throw a fissure. And Ape Mother, though, is in the BKB. He's going to town on RMN. There's no way the Razor can escape from this one. He's going to get pulled back, in fact. I think that was a 4-staff from the Elder Titan screwing him over. And
no, that was 4-staff from E-Skills.
Okay, well, 4-staffs from someone going to put... No, wait, no, E-Skills still has his on cooldown. It was Chill. He was trying to save the Razor.
Okay, fair enough. I thought, oh, surely they're not screwing themselves over, but clearly a mistake or two are made. Sealgid going to take some focus fire from Gasha, but it does not matter. The Batrider is still just burning up everything, and now it is finally Mega Creeps 52 minutes into the game.
And that was so easy for Coast. Like, they lost the Batrider because he just kind of went suicidal, but that was so easy. They could have done that like 20 minutes ago. Come on, guys. That was just the ultimate of slow rolls. They're just farming heroes at this point. GG's already been called. We're just waiting for the Ancient to blow.
What in Divinity's Edge is going on?
This game, man. This game. The Ancient finally blows up and we're free, but not quite, because that was only game 2 of a best of 3. Coast and Goomba, they're going to be fighting in one more game coming up very soon, guys. Thanks for watching here for the on the HeflaTV 2 ESFX channel. The Art of Festival is going to continue in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. I think we're both exhausted, so it's probably just going to be a low-key draft. Exactly.